Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning in. Neil here with BIKEPACKING.com. And in today's episode, we sit down with Laurens Ten Dam. Laurens recently retired in 2019 from pro road cycling, but he hasn't stopped riding and racing his bike. His most recent endeavor was taking on the bikepacking event called Further, which is in its second year. He did quite well, taking third place. So we chat about Further, but we also chat about how he's endured 22 years of professional cycling, how he gets through the day-to-day, and how he gets through each year. Laurens is an extremely down-to-earth human being and a joy to chat with, so hopefully you enjoy this interview. And if you like what you see here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and enjoy. All right, Laurens. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on BIKEPACKING.com. You're in your van right now, and I appreciate the time.
It's dark over here, you see?
Yeah.
So kind of dark, but that doesn't mean we can't talk, you know?
Exactly.
So no, I'm in my van. I was just doing a social ride with a local bike club or bike shop, actually to thank the mechanics for preparing my bike for Further, the race. And I brought them some beers, and now I'm on my way home.
You had a 22-year road career. You just recently retired. I'm sure you talk about road biking all the time, and you're like, oh, I'm so over it. But how did you, like, I'm always curious, like, how you professional cyclists get into this stuff. Like, how did that evolve?
So, yeah, that's actually kind of a funny story, you know. Normally I should do the gravel racing this year. I lived in the US for 1 year in 2016, and there I came in touch with the gravel scene. I did Leadville, I did Tainthammer, I did Granduro, I did some of the grasshoppers. So then after my career, I decided I wanted to do the gravel racing. And yeah, since this year was not a lot of gravel racing involved, I organized my own Dirty Cancelled, and I did a vlog on bikepacking. I did some bikepacking trips, you know, like leisure way with myself. And the guy I did the vlog with about bikepacking, he did some of the racing, and I phoned him 4 weeks ago, like, what are you up to? What are you doing in the upcoming time? And he said, yeah, I'm going to Further, and it's kind of a hard race in the Pyrenees. You want to join me? And that's how I decided basically 3 weeks ago that I should do it, or 3 weeks before the event. So there was not a lot of preparation involved, but it was actually, just in a blur. And actually I totally didn't know it was one of the hardest races around. But at the end, I'm really happy I did it.
Awesome. So I guess we'll just jump right into that. So this was your first bikepacking ultra, is that correct?
Yeah, that's totally correct. Yeah.
So what logistically is Further all about? It's kind of different from a lot of other bike pack racing.
So to me, to be honest, I don't know what's the difference because it's the only one I did. This race is around 16 segments, and you have to do them in a sequence. And those GPSs, you have to do the GPS the organization sends you. And in between the segments, you can route yourself, you know. And then there's also 4 of those 16 segments had a night slot because they were too dangerous to do at night. That's why there was more tactic in the race involved than in normal ultras, I think. And that was kind of cool for people to watch, I think.
So there was like a curfew in some of the segments you had to stop.
Yeah. So the tracker was not allowed to move in between 9 p.m. and 7 a.m. Yeah, basically that was the rule.
As far as mileage is concerned, did everybody kind of take the same route, or was everybody a little different?
No, actually, to be honest, it was pretty straightforward. In between, there's maybe minor differences, but basically all the people came around 520 kilometers. So in miles, I wouldn't know, like 300 miles, 320 miles, something like that, yeah.
You were mentioning how challenging this race was compared to a lot of other races you've done. You've endured quite a bit in the road scene. Obviously, you've done the Vuelta, Tour de France. You've fallen. You've endured some really tough days on the bike. Yeah, how does this experience stack up against all of those?
Yeah, this is not to compare to all of those things. You know, like I live on the flatlands in Holland, so I'm also not like a experienced mountaineer or, you know, hiking in the mountains. I don't know. I know a little bit by riding roads in the mountains how unpredictable the weather can be. But actually, I was a total newbie in all of those things. Like I'm also not an experienced mountain biker, and these were almost like mountain bike tracks. Basically, the first two guys also rode the mountain bike, while I
Yep.
was on my gravel bike. So yeah, for me it was all new, and that was the cool thing for me, like to stay alive basically in those conditions, like to be able to still make it to the finish in a reasonable time and to keep on hiking the bike and carrying all my load. And because normally I can imagine a bikepack race, you don't have to carry the bike for 50K.
Yeah.
So now I also had to get used to, I didn't even know how to carry my bike. I really found out during the 3 days what's the best way to carry the bike on the shoulder and such things. So I'm still suffering from back pain because of all the carrying and also of all the rocks on my gravel bike, and I had like narrow tires compared to the other guys and maybe too much pressure, all rookie mistakes.
Sure.
But I'm still also happy I did it, So for me it was, I came home and totally happy while I'm still crooked, with the back pain. But for me it was the adventure of the last 5 years for me, actually. So I was really happy I did this adventure. Yeah. So no regrets. Totally not.
Awesome. And so you would say one day on the further route would be more difficult than any one day on a stage race, or no?
No, I wouldn't say that. The thing is, on a stage race, you come in a bus, you have a shower, you have a massage, there's good food for you prepared. And here I was first night laying in the ditch, and another rookie mistake. I didn't look at the weather, and all day was 30 degrees Celsius. And in the night it was still like 18, really nice weather. I lay down in an open field in my BV, all my stuff around me, and within 15 minutes it starts to rain, and I forgot to look at the weather. I was like, fuck, I'm such a moron. Like now I'm here in the rain, and I crouched into my BV, and I tried to get my shoes underneath something to stay dry, and then after 90 minutes I left again, like, fuck, I'm not going to sleep like this. And then day two started, so yeah, and all those things really made up for a great experience.
You heard about the race about 3 weeks prior to the actual race. How much homework were you able to do on like the route, what you needed to bring? Obviously, you took a gravel bike instead of like a mountain bike. But what kind of homework did you end up doing to help you get through that race?
Actually, it was all last minute. Really, because when I heard about it, I was still in Italy doing some podcasting, and I wrote, and I still had to finish a movie. We were making a movie about the rider, the novel of Tim Cabet, which comes out tomorrow night, actually.
Oh, sweet.
So I was busy doing all that shit, and not a lot of training. And then last minute, I had to arrange lights, which was pretty important.
Yeah.
Lighter sleeping gear than I owned before. I had some more prototype pro bags, like to test. I wanted to have one of those dynamo hubs, like those front hubs with electricity.
Oh yeah, dynamos. Yeah.
Yeah, it was too short notice. So actually, I brought a big power bank and a charger and all the cables and stuff. So I was, but to be honest about my gear choice, I was pretty happy. I used everything I had with me, even a spare derriere hanger.
Oh, really?
Pro tip. So I was happy I could use that. That I could use everything. Maybe I bought too much of the bars, and maybe I needed more like real food, like pancakes or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. Then I also noticed the guy who won it. He didn't have to stop for food. He brought everything with him already at the start, I think, because stopping for food was slow, he said. And such things, those things are like, those things I didn't know, of course. Like I stopped for dinner the first night. I stopped at the supermarket. I stopped for coffee. I stopped for all those kind of things. So for me, all that was a learning experience. But overall, I was happy with my preparation. Yeah.
Can you explain the route? How much single track versus tarmac versus just gravel road was there?
They said there would be a lot of tarmac, like 80%, and then the rest would be hiking. But it was not the case, actually. I think there was more gravel than just 20%. And also the hiking was a little bit less. But the hiking there was the first sector was 8 kilometers, was for sure hiking. And then there was another sector of 4. It was like 25, 30K of hiking, with a bike on your back. So it was a lot of hiking. But yeah, the rocks are like big. I think you need wider tires than I used, with less pressure than I used, to avoid that back pain I still have now.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some kind of nerve is blocked or something.
Yeah.
But to be honest, compared to other events, I wouldn't know how it is. But I spoke to the winner of Further, who was also
James
I think
Haden.
he was also second in Atlas Mountain.
Yep.
And he told me that Atlas Mountain was holidays compared to Further. So I would say Further is like a hard race. Although it's short, it's for the ultra distance. It's really short. He also did 50 hours, or more than 50 hours to compete. So the race is hard. Yeah.
It looks it. I'm intrigued by it just because there is so much climbing. So do you think you would have performed a little bit better if you did have, say, like a mountain bike then?
Yeah, maybe. But for me, it was just the adventure was the most important. So also it's cool to do it on a gravel bike. And second of all, for me, an event which is more rideable is better anyway, I think. Like I'm not also the most technical guy on the bike, but still the most adventure you get out of events like this. And that's what I like to do right now. So actually, I can't wait to start another event like this. Yeah.
What was the low moment for you, and then what was the highlight?
The low moment. So I got lost in between sector 6 and 7.
Okay.
And I went on a small track, and afterwards I heard it's a track to some old mine, and it got more narrow and more narrow. And on the Wahoo, it was just 100 meters from the real track. So at first I did it, and I was walking the bike, so then you don't watch the Wahoo all the time. So I was hiking the bike. And then I noticed I was wrong, turned around. There was a big stick in my derailleur, so it got off. I had to fix it in the middle of the night while I was lost. And then I decided to slide down the mountain towards the place I was supposed to be, on the map. And then I was sliding down the mountain, like 80% degree mountain, hanging on every tree I could get to not fall really hard down. In dark, pitch dark, and then I hit a great road, and I was like, fuck, I could have, but that was like dangerous, but at the end I was also proud that I managed it. I think I was I was still leading the race in hindsight. I didn't know because I never watched those dots or stuff like that. I don't know how it works, and also I was too short notice to have my phone on my stairs, so my phone was just in my back pocket, like always, So that was a dangerous moment. But then, I was decided I was done. I took that nap in the rain and I started over again. And it basically was not a low point, except that the back started to hurt more and more, and then you decided to go from stone to stone, and you just want the day to be, or the race to be finished. And the last day was the day of suffering, but when I was finished, I was just happy, so it was okay.
Was that your highlight, just getting to the finish line?
Yeah, I remember. Also, a spoke broke 1K to go, so I was the luckiest guy on it. And it was not like 100K. So that was, to be on that finish line, I remember was a relief. And like I say, last day I was like, what the fuck am I doing? But once I was finished, I was already happy and thinking about how to get better. So yeah, it planted a seed, and it took me, and I think I will do at least one of those events a year. I'm not going to do this full time because I got several companies to run, and I'm paid to do Dirty Kansas, those one-day races, also by some of my partners, and not doing those ultra things, but still I will do once a year something like that, I think.
So you ended up taking third behind James Mark Haden and then also fellow retired pro cyclist Christian Meier.
So I knew Christian, but I didn't know James Mark.
Yep.
But it's a cool guy, and apparently he's like one of the great guys in racing like that. So It's a cool guy, and I was happy to meet him. And I saw his fan because he just built a van to travel with that from race to race. I'm going to ask him for some advice in the future.
Yeah, he's won the Trans Continental twice, which is one of the most popular bikepacking self-supported ultra races there.
Because that's also one you have to make the route yourself.
Exactly.
You have to pass the checkpoints.
You didn't probably train for this race, like you said, but what gets you through year after year? You had a 22-year road career. What's like the key for you to stay healthy and get you through year after year?
Yeah, so the key is I think you don't have to. You have to find a way you enjoy it so much, that you can do it every day and day after day after day. If you get too focused on training on one part, like training or nutrition or stuff like that, like you have to also let go once in a while. And once you be able to do that and keep the focus, like the normal focus, not the hyper focus, but the normal focus year round, then it's not difficult for me. Like, I drink a beer almost every day. I don't drink 4 beers, but I drink 1 beer every day. And I eat a piece of chocolate, but not a whole bar of chocolate. And sometimes I just don't train, or sometimes I barbecue or eat some French fries, but I don't eat a whole bag of French fries. So it's all in moderation. But I was never one of those guys who said, I don't train till the end of the Tour de France. And then once the Tour de France was finished, I started to binge, like Geraint Thomas, for example, when he won the Tour de France, one month after, he was 10 kilos more heavy, and I was always more moderate, and that's why I also now after my career, I can still race the way I do, or ride my bike the way I do, and be happy, So the police is going to ask what I'm going to do, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That's the police.
Are they?
No, they turn around. They go around. I was like, they were watching in the van, like, what's happening here?
What's this guy doing?
They saw me on the phone. It's okay for them. So all in moderation, and also training. If you're too focused on, I need to do that interval, you just want to follow the schedule of your coach by the letter. That doesn't work for me. You also have to listen to the body.
Yeah, that's super important. What's your biggest road accomplishment, would you say?
I'm still the most happy or the most proud on the 9th place in the Tour de France I got in 2014. And also that I did 10 of those Tour de France's, and I finished all 10 of those. So I'm really proud on that result, or those results, yes.
As you should be. That's super impressive. Yeah. How many 10-year Tour de France finishers are there out there?
Yeah, I don't know. Not many, I think. No. So I'm one of the few, and I'm happy that I done those. But also that's been done, and to be honest, I'm not talking too much about it anymore, and just try to find some new adventures, like further, for example, or like Dirty Kansas next year, I hope, or however the name is next year, and Belgian Waffle Ride, and my own events I organize, and I'm also doing planning on organizing a cool new event somewhere in Flanders. So yeah, it's more about the future for me than the past.
For sure. So what events are you putting together? What are your own events?
I have 2 gravel events, one in Germany, 2 weekenders. And the first one was organized in 2018, so this would be the 3rd year. But yeah, due to COVID, we had to cancel also. This year, a second event came together with that, one in Holland. It's basically based on Granduro. I did Granduro US in 2016 in Quincy. So it's a Friday night party already, and then Saturday is a race with segments, and then there's a big rock party in the night, barbecue, campfire, and then Sunday we have a hangover ride and go home. And it's all those events are sold out events every year, and I'm really proud to teach the European people how the gravel scene can be, and And I'm really happy. Those moments actually are the proudest moments of the last years. When Saturday night you oversee the festival and there's maybe 1,000 people having fun, and no, those moments are the proudest moments I have. To organize something like that and people would like to follow it. Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. And that's kind of between that and you're doing a podcast now. What else are you up to?
I'm also editor-in-chief of Bicycling NL, the Dutch bicycling. I have that podcast. I race bikes. I have an own coffee brand. I have clothing. We just 2 weeks ago we launched our own clothing brand. So casual and race. What else? The events are a big part, and then tomorrow we release that movie about the rider. So it's a lot of pieces I have to juggle, and the family life. But races like further actually give me the energy to the weeks after to start up like the boring things like administration. Because if you own those 3 or 4 companies, there's also administration hours and phone calls you maybe don't have to do or have to want to do. And when you've done something like further, it makes it everything the weeks after makes it a lot easier.
That's awesome. Well, it seems like you're super busy now.
Yeah, I'm actually busy. Yeah.
What's something that most people don't know about you that you'd like to share?
Oh, what the fuck? Man, I don't know. But basically, I'm a really open person, Like I tell almost everything in the podcast, and I don't know. There's not much they don't know. I think, yeah.
What's your favorite beer?
Favorite beer? I drink a lot of Quaremont beer, but also the Lagunitas IPA. The IPA I learned to drink in California makes me really happy. A nice Lagunitas IPA, yeah. Fuck yeah.
Awesome.
And then what I used to really like in the US was also Sunday game day to go to the pub, drink Lagunitas, and then some tacos, and watch the football.
Yeah.
Or go to the San Jose Sharks hockey game. I miss the US. That's the bad thing about COVID for me this year. We were planning on doing 2 big road trips, one of 1 month and one of 3 weeks in the US in a big camper van going from race to race, van life and having fun with the guys all together, make a movie about it. And that has to wait for has to wait for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Dirty Canceled video is pretty well put together, and that was a cool initiative, an event that you kind of helped support and put on.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I was really happy that people took it like this, and it was also a day like I was proud. At the end of the day, you see so many staff and commute files come in, it was crazy.
All right, Lawrence. Well, I think that about covers it, my man. And I appreciate you jumping on and being so open and for doing a really good job in your first bike packing event. I think that's super impressive. And I think for most people, at least racers, I race. I know there's a lot of other racers out there. I think it's awesome to see ex-road cyclists get into this stuff because I think the more the merrier, and it helps with exposure too, to be honest. And there isn't that much out there for bike pack racing, so I appreciate that.
I think it's going to be bigger now. Yeah, I think also because of COVID, it's almost the only races we're still continuing. So that's a chance for the scene actually. Yeah. So. I'm really happy I could be on. I apologize for the darkness in my van, but yeah, it is what it is. I cannot change it.
No, it's all good. All right, Lawrence. Well, thanks so much.
Okay. See ya. Bye-bye.